Stop. Before this story begins, you need to know one thing. Every pirate in the Blox Fruits world knows the legend. The legend of the fruit that was never listed, never sold, never found. The fruit that the sea itself hid away. Because the last time someone ate it, the entire first sea went dark for 3 days. This is the story of a boy named Kai. And this is the story of what happened when that fruit found him. Kai was not a great pirate. He was not even a good pirate. He was, by most honest definitions, a completely average Roblox player with a level 47 character, a wooden sword that had seen better days, and exactly 0 devil fruits to his name. He lived in a small house near the starter island. Nothing special about it. A bed, a chest with some belly he'd been saving for weeks, and a window that looked out over the sea. Every morning, Kai would stand at that window and watch the stronger players sail past. Pirates with glowing swords. Pirates with fruit powers that made the air crackle and spark. Pirates who moved so fast they left after images behind them. And every morning, Kai would whisper the same thing to himself. One day. He didn't know what day that would be, he just knew it hadn't come yet. His only friend in the game was a boy named Zoro. Not the famous one, just a kid who'd chosen the name because he thought it sounded cool. Zoro was level 312. He had the flame fruit. He could literally set the ocean on fire if he wanted to. But Zoro never made Kai feel small about it. You're getting better, Zoro would say, watching Kai train against the starter island enemies. Your timing is improving. I got knocked out by a level 15 bandit yesterday, Kai said. Your timing is slightly improving, Zoro corrected. Kai laughed. That was the thing about Zoro. He always made Kai laugh. They'd been playing together for 4 months. 4 months of grinding, sailing, failing, and trying again. Zoro could have been sailing the 3rd sea with players his own level. Instead, he stayed in the 1st sea with Kai. Kai never asked him why. He was afraid the answer might be something sad. It was a Tuesday when everything changed. Kai was doing his usual morning grind, fighting bandits near the jungle island, collecting belly, trying to reach level 50, when he saw it. Something washed up on the shore. He almost walked past it. It looked like a rock at first. Dark, almost black, with a strange surface that seemed to shift when you looked at it directly, like it couldn't decide what shape it wanted to be. Kai crouched down and looked closer. It was a fruit, but not like any fruit he'd ever seen in the shop, not like any fruit he'd seen other players use. The color was wrong, too dark, too deep, like the color of the ocean at midnight, and it pulsed, slowly, like a heartbeat. Kai reached out and picked it up. The moment his blocky Roblox hand touched it, the entire island went quiet. Not game quiet, not the normal background silence, actually quiet, like the world was holding its breath. What is that? Kai spun around. Zoro was standing behind him, eyes wide, flame powers completely extinguished, which never happened. Zoro's flames were always on. I don't know, Kai said. It washed up. Zoro stared at the fruit for a long moment. Then he said something Kai had never heard him say before. Kai, put it down. What? Why? Because I've been playing this game for 2 years, Zoro said quietly, and I have never seen that fruit. Not once. Not in any server. Not in any update. Not in any wiki. He paused. That fruit doesn't exist. Kai put it in his inventory instead. He knew it was probably a bad idea. He knew Zoro's expression, that tight, worried look, meant something serious. But something about the fruit felt like it was meant for him, like it had been waiting on that shore specifically for a level 47 nobody with a broken wooden sword. He didn't eat it. Not yet, but he kept it. That night, the messages started. The first one came from a player named Dark Admiral _X. Kai had never heard of him. I know what you found. Don't eat it. Sell it to me. I'll give you everything I have. Kai checked Dark Admiral _X's profile, level 2,847, one of the highest levels Kai had ever seen. His inventory was worth more belly than Kai could count. Kai didn't respond. The second message came an hour later, different player, Shadow King _99. You don't understand what that fruit does. You're not ready. Give it to someone who is. The third message came at midnight. No username, just a blank profile with no avatar, no level, no join date. It said only 4 words: "Don't let them have it." Kai stared at that message for a long time. Then he closed the game and sat in the dark thinking. He told Zoro about the messages the next morning. Zoro listened without interrupting. That was unusual for him. Zoro was normally the kind of person who interrupted constantly with opinions and jokes, but he listened to all of it in silence. When Kai finished, Zoro was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "How many people know you have it?" "I don't know, I didn't tell anyone." "Someone told them," Zoro said, which means someone was watching you when you picked it up. They both looked around the starter island. It looked completely normal. Bandits wandering their usual paths, new players running around with wooden swords, the sea glittering in the morning light. But now it felt different, watched. "What do we do?" Kai asked. Zoro was quiet for another moment. Then he straightened up and his flames came back, brighter than usual, almost white at the edges. "We find out what it does," he said, "before they do." They sailed to the library island. It was a small, mostly ignored island in the corner of the first sea. Most players skipped it entirely because it had no enemies to fight and no treasure to find. Just an old NPC librarian who sat behind a desk and answered questions if you knew how to ask them. The librarian's name was Elder Shen. He was one of those NPCs that felt different from the others. His dialogue was longer, more detailed, like someone had put real thought into writing it. Players mostly ignored him. Kai had talked to him once before, months ago, when he was new. Elder Shen had told him something he'd never forgotten. "The sea gives gifts to those it chooses, not those who are strongest, those who are ready." Kai had thought it was just flavor text at the time. Now he wasn't so sure. Elder Shen looked at the fruit for a long time, longer than felt normal for an NPC. Then he said, "Where did you find this?" "It washed up on the shore," Kai said. "Which shore?" "Starter Island, near the jungle side." Elder Shen was quiet. His old NPC eyes, usually blank and static like all game characters, seemed to focus in a way that made Kai's skin prickle. "This fruit has not been seen in 400 game years," Elder Shen said. "It was hidden by the first sea itself. After the last person who ate it nearly unmade everything." "What does it do?" Zoro asked. "It does not give power," Elder Shen said. "It gives truth." Kai frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," Elder Shen said slowly, "that whoever eats this fruit will see the game as it truly is. Not as players see it, not as the world presents itself. The hidden paths, the locked doors, the things the developers buried and forgot." He paused. "And the things they buried on purpose." The library was very quiet. "There are players who have been searching for this fruit for years," Elder Shen continued. "They believe it will give them ultimate power. They are wrong, but they will not stop searching." He looked directly at Kai. "You should know. They already know you have it, and they are coming." They came that afternoon. 3 ships, moving fast, cutting through the water in perfect formation. Dark Admiral _X was on the lead ship. Kai could see his character from the shore, massive and heavily armored, fruit powers already active, the air around him crackling with dark energy. Behind him, Shadow King _99, and a dozen other high-level players Kai didn't recognize. "Okay," Zoro said, watching them approach. His voice was very calm. "So, we have a problem. We can't fight them," Kai said. "They're all over level 1000. "I know. You're level 312. "I know. I'm level 47. "Kai, I know. So what do we do?" Zoro turned to him, and for the first time since Kai had known him, Zoro looked genuinely uncertain. Not scared. Zoro didn't really do scared, but uncertain. Like he was standing at a crossroads and couldn't see where either path led. "I think," Zoro said slowly, "that you need to eat the fruit." "Now?" They're 3 minutes away and they have enough firepower to delete this entire island. So yes, now. Kai looked down at the fruit in his inventory. Dark, pulsing, waiting. What if it does something terrible? He said. What if it doesn't? Zoro said quietly. Kai ate the fruit. It tasted like nothing. Like absolutely nothing at all, which was somehow the strangest part. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the world cracked open. Not literally, the island was still there, the ships were still coming, Zoro was still standing next to him. But Kai could see everything differently now, like someone had turned on a light in a room he'd been navigating in the dark. He could see the hidden paths, tunnels beneath the islands that no map showed, doors in cliff faces that had no handles, chests buried so deep underground they'd never been found. And deeper than all of that, deeper than the game itself seemed to go, something vast and ancient and sleeping. He could also see the players on the ships, and he could see that Dark Admiral _X was afraid. Not of Kai, not of Zoro, of the fruit, of what it might reveal. He's hiding something, Kai said quietly.
What? Zoro looked at him sharply. Dark Admiral _X. He's not here because he wants power. Kai's new vision cut through the game's surface like a knife through water. He's here because he's afraid of what I'll see. There's something he buried. Something he doesn't want anyone to find. The ships were 1 minute away now. Kai closed his eyes, let the fruit's power flow through him completely. And he found it. Deep beneath the second sea, in a location that didn't appear on any map. A locked vault that Dark Admiral _X had hidden 2 years ago, back when he was a developer's test account, back before the game went public, back when he had access to things no regular player should ever have. Inside the vault, a fruit. The original fruit. The one the developers had decided was too powerful to release. The one they'd locked away and told no one about. Dark Admiral _X had found it, and hidden it, and spent 2 years making sure no one else ever would. Until now. Kai opened his eyes. Zoro, he said, I know what's happening, and I know what we need to do. What happened next became the most talked about event in Blox Fruits history. Kai didn't fight Dark Admiral _X. He didn't need to. He simply told everyone what he'd seen. He broadcasted across every server, every channel, every player online at that moment, thousands of them, heard Kai's voice describing exactly what was hidden beneath the second sea. Exactly what Dark Admiral _X had done. Exactly where the vault was. Dark Admiral _X's ships stopped moving. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Dark Admiral _X's character slowly turned around and sailed away. He never came back. The vault was found within the hour. Thousands of players descended on the second sea location Kai had described. The locked door opened. It had been waiting for someone with the Truth Fruit's power to unlock it. Inside was the original fruit, glowing white, impossibly bright.
And a note from the developers, buried in the game's code, that simply said, "For the one who was ready." The fruit dissolved into light, spread across every server. Every player online at that moment felt it. A warmth, a brightness, a sense of something being made right after a long time of being wrong. New powers unlocked for everyone, not just the strongest players, everyone. Kai stood on the starter island and watched the sky above the first sea fill with light. Zoro stood next to him. "You know," Zoro said after a while, "I stayed in the first sea because I was waiting for something. I didn't know what. I just knew it hadn't happened yet." Kai looked at him. 4 months ago, Zoro continued, a completely average level 12 player with a wooden sword asked me if I wanted to go fight bandits together. And I thought, yeah, I'll stay a little longer. Kai didn't say anything for a moment. Then he said, I was level 12 when we met? You were terrible, Zoro confirmed. Genuinely one of the worst players I had ever seen. And you stayed anyway. And I stayed anyway. Kai looked back out at the sea. The light was fading now, settling into the water, becoming part of the world. The first sea looked the same as it always had, but it felt different, lighter, like something heavy had been lifted from it. What happens now? Kai asked. Now? Zoro grinned. His flames came back, warm and gold, not the battle white from before. Now we go to the second sea, together, and you stop getting knocked out by level 15 bandits. I've improved since then. You got knocked out by a level 18 bandit last week. That's improvement. Zoro laughed. Kai laughed. And somewhere in the game's code, in the deep hidden places that only the truth fruit could see, something ancient and patient and good settled quietly back to sleep. Its work was done. The sea gives gifts to those it chooses, not those who are strongest, those who are ready. Kai hadn't been the strongest player.
He hadn't been the fastest, or the richest, or the most powerful. He'd just been ready. And sometimes, in Blox Fruits, and maybe everywhere else too, that's exactly enough. If you made it to the end of this film, you're one of us now, the ones who stay until the credits, the ones who actually care about the story. Subscribe, because the next film is already being written. And trust us, you don't want to miss what happens when Kai and Zoro reach the second sea. See you there.